Hey, this is What Are You Doing, Rants, and my name is Bri, and I'm here to talk about how, um, you know, certain animated movies kind of are annoying and a little frustrating, I guess, is the best way to put it. So, the first movie I'm going to do is an extremely goofy movie, and it's a sequel to a goofy movie, and it stars Goofy, of course, and his son Max, who's now 18 and going to college, and he has to, win in the extreme games and become the coolest guy in college because apparently that's pretty important, I guess. I've never heard of colleges having extreme games. That doesn't seem. I don't know. They live. You never see Mickey Mouse or like anybody else, so Goofy shouldn't have a kid to begin with. He really shouldn't. That's probably the first problem out of all of this. Goofy should not be allowed to have a child. They never discuss Goofy's wife, which a little upsets me because he must have butted Max. That little thing on the back of his head, came out and there was Max because, I don't know, he definitely needs a wife. So anyway, the first part of the movie, I was really bothered by the fact that he is freaking out that his son is leaving. And it's just, Goofy, you need to let it go. You need to let it go because you're clearly obsessing over your son in an almost, sexual manner. We have to stay together, Max. It's like, no, he's 18. He has to go to college and you need to meet somebody there's a lot of things that I could recommend for you, Goofy, and not all of them are appropriate for YouTube, so. But anyway, it's just, that's the first part that super pisses me off because your son is 18. Let him go. Let him do what he needs to do. You don't need to follow him everywhere, okay? Seriously. He's just like this thing where he's like, I have to follow my son everywhere. And it's like, no, you don't, stupid. Let him go. You have a life. And he loses his job and has to go to college. Do you have to go to your son's college? Really? There's no other colleges nearby. There isn't a community college. Can you afford this? You're poor. He's going to a state college. Either do something online or get another job, okay? And the way that the economy is working, well, this was, okay, that doesn't technically count because this was in a different era, whatever and everything. But anyway, it's just, oh man. Okay, moving on. So anyway, so Goofy has to go to his son's college, right? Because he loses his job. He dresses like he's in the 70s with a 70s wig. Do you really have no idea what's hip? My parents are the same. They're old. They grew up in the 70s and the 80s. They know what's cool and hip. They know not to wear a disco suit in a 70s. No, Goofy, you're wrong. You're very, very wrong. Everything you were doing up to this point is wrong. The movie should stop. You should seek medical help. You should have never had a son. You should have never gotten married. You should have stayed a celibate, genitalialess character in some Mickey Mouse film. You don't deserve to be here. So then anyway, Max has to deal with his son. Or his dad, I'm sorry. Being there and stuff and, showing up and ruining his life because his dad has no concept of personal space. He really is very touchy-feely. There was a few points in the film where I was a little uncomfortable and I was like, you really need to let your son have his space. And, the way you're acting is kind of the same way people do when they're dating. And, they're like, you're not looking at me when we make love, or, you don't hold my hand anymore, or when was the last time you, bought me flowers or nice lingerie? And it's just, it's so creepy. And then, he ends up joining that other guy's, fraternity, and it's like, I really don't have anything to say to that upper crust guy. His jaw's amazing. It's everywhere. But I think the most disturbing part of this movie, and the part that I feel kind of ruins the whole movie for me, is the flashback thing. When he's, about to take the test. Goofy's taking the test, and he has to, he's all zoned out because, Max doesn't love me. He does love you. He just needs space. Oh my God. You know, take a Midol, go change your tampon, get over it, sweetheart. But anyway, the scene where he has this weird flashback thing, this was like I've watched the movie before, and this might have been like the, third or fourth time that I've watched it, but I had to stop after that. I couldn't watch it when he has like the rainbow wig and he's coming out. And it's kind of like he's sexually fantasizing about his son. And, he's these little fairies of Max, and it just, I think Goofy is in love with his son. I think Goofy wants to have sex with his son, or I think Goofy has made his son into a surrogate wife. And he's a cartoon character. And he's a goofy cartoon character. That's why his name is Goofy. And so I think that makes a lot of sense because do you see the problem with this movie? Is making me think things like that. This movie is making me think that he wants to sleep with his son. And they provide more than enough evidence for it. This is very goofy, extremely goofy movie. It's a fun movie. It's about a father trying to overcome the way he's made his son into a surrogate wife, and he doesn't succeed. His son is enabling him. He needs to seek severe psychological help, and the movie should end with him going to therapy. I really don't know what else to say because this is my first video. That was me ranting about an extremely goofy movie. I've calmed down a bit because earlier I was like foaming at the mouth and I was like, So anyway, comment, record, or, say if there's any other movies you want me to watch and cry over. I did. There were a few moments where I wanted to cry. The next movie I'll be doing is Bible Goes West. So, bye.